Hi there, Fraser from Missouri Sound here, and this is just a quick tutorial on how I like to mix guitars and how I mix guitars for this particular song. This is kind of a rock pop kind of song. The guitars aren't the main focus, but they are very important to get right, and if you don't get them right, you'll completely ruin the mix. So let's have a listen to the chorus of the song and see what we're dealing with here.
Far away in the deepest ocean, there's a party that never ends. So jump about and enjoy the commotion, 'cause Sharky Sharky wants to be your friend. Far away in the deepest ocean, far away in the darkest sea, you must remember your suntan lotion, 'cause Sharky Sharky's gonna be your light, you'll see.
So yeah, the guitar's not the most important thing, but they do play a very important supporting feature for the vocals and for the structural integrity of the whole mix. So let's have a look at what I did. So the first thing in the chain is this slate digital console saturation. Now, you probably, if I A-B'd this, you wouldn't really notice much difference. It's a very subtle plugin. So I'll just show you it without it. And with it. So it just kind of, you have it across lots of tracks in your mix, and it just kind of mimics what would happen in the analog world if you were mixing out the box through a mixing console. Adds some very subtle saturation, and you know, by the time it's on like everything in the mix, it kind of adds up and creates subtly richer, dense harmonics and really kind of rounds out your mix in a nice analog way. So that's, you know, nothing major going on there, but this EQ here is where the magic happens. So let me show you it with it. And now let me show you when I take it away. It's quite extreme. So guitars have a lot of harshness, which I really hate. And it's not the kind of harshness that you can fix with better mic placement or dialing in a better tone in the amp. It comes from the amp, and you have to do it while mixing or after the amp stage at least. So let me kind of show you what's going on here. So this is a low cut, which just kind of keeps the guitar out of the way of the bass and the kick. And this is a high cut, which just gets rid of some noise in the high end. They're not that big a deal, but these two cuts are a very big deal because these kind of get rid of the harshness. So again. So, and I'll show you how I kind of hunt around for these. I would just kind of play through the song, get a notch EQ, boost it, and see where it gets really horrible. Oh, that is horrible. That's evil. And then if you tighten the Q, oh, it's evil. So once you've located it, like I just did, you just do a cut. You can go kind of really extreme until kind of neuters the sound a bit, then dial it back a bit. That's what I usually do. And I've obviously found a couple of areas that I don't like in here. That's, you know, pretty typical for my for how I get my guitar, how I mix my guitars. I quite often find these horrible frequencies that you just have to notch out. So after that, another common thing for me is to boost a low to 8K. So that kind of just makes it less dull and gives it more presence in the mix. So I'll show you it without it. With it. So you really notice in the mix. And it disappears altogether when you bypass it. Sharky wants to be your friend.
far away in the deepest ocean.
I really like how this EQ and boosting 8K kind of meshes with the cymbals in the high end, and you know, I really like doing that on pretty much most of my guitars. You know, some amps you won't have to boost as much, or maybe in a slightly different frequency, but that's a pretty common one for me. So after that, I've just pinned it down a bit with a compressor.
Walk on stage and we play the first note that never ends.
I usually go for about 3 dB gain reduction, and I've got quite a slow attack on this because I like to get some of the pick attack to come through. And then after that, I use this limiter to
Jump about and enjoy.
kind of pin it down a bit more, and that does affect the pick attack. And then that's it. It's the same on both. I've got a left and a right track, and they are going through the bus, which has a little bit more pinning down, a little bit more compression with the limiter, and also another console saturation, just adding a bit more of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the guitar sound, and I'll show you before and after so you can kind of compare. So before. After. Yeah, so that's it basically. And then in the mix.
You must remember your suntan lotion, 'cause Sharky's gonna be your light, you'll see.
Now the guitars just kind of do their job. They're really clean and lean, nowhere they shouldn't be, and just the way I like it. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to me. And if you know anyone that might find it useful, give it a share. If you're interested, the band's called Sharky. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Cheers.